we can talk about it. All right. So the first statement that I want to make, and it's just a little bit of advice when you're talking to an atheist, and don't take this personal if you're an atheist, but this is how I feel and a lot of other people feel who have to deal with you in this statement that you make all the time. The first bit of advice I want to give you from my own personal experience: do not believe a word coming out of their mouth. If they tell you that if you provide evidence that they will believe. And there's two reasons on why you need to be careful with something like that. Number one, the atheist has a goal talking to you. And the other reason is what the Bible says. The Bible says that God uses the foolishness of preaching to save people, not proving that he exists. If you prove to an atheist that God exists, they're still going to the lake of fire, because that got nothing to do with their sins, repenting from it, and turning to Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I believe that the devil has invented this line of argumentation that they're using to get you away from preaching the gospel and having a philosophical argument with them, which we'll get into very shortly. So that's the first bit of advice I want to give you. Do not believe a word coming out of their mouth. They're not looking for evidence. Okay. And if they say that they're looking for evidence, they go in this ear and out the other one. So with that advice out there, this is how you respond to an atheist that says to you, but you believe that God doesn't exist because no one's ever provided any evidence. And for you to say that, you got to be able to show me, what do you mean by that? Because in order for me and you to have a conversation that's going to bear fruit, me and you got to agree on what you're talking about regarding evidence. I shouldn't assume nothing. You make it crystal clear what you're talking about.
Okay, but now you did start off this show by saying, hey, everyone, rule number one, don't believe a thing atheists say to you.
Right.
How is this conversation going to go if that's your attitude coming into it?
Well, here's the thing. I also gave that example when you're starting off a conversation with an atheist. So when you
atheist,
if right now you were to say to me right now that the kind of evidence I want is A, and it makes sense in reality, okay, then I'll listen to what you got to say. But if you say that you're looking for evidence that is ridiculous, I'll point out why it's ridiculous and show you why I don't believe you. You understand? So let's stay on this now. What kind of evidence have never been presented to you? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. What kind of evidence has never been presented to you in order for you to believe that God exists?
I'm sorry, repeat it one more time.
What kind of evidence has never been presented to you to prove that God exists? What kind of evidence are you looking for?
Okay, if you're asking what evidence I'm looking for, I'll give you what would make me 100% Christian. If God appeared before me and did some God magic stuff, and I'd be like, boom, I'm in 100%.
Do not believe a word coming out of their mouth. If they tell you that if you provide evidence that they will believe.